Okay, so picture this. A city that wasn't built up, but was carved down, straight out of these massive towering red cliffs. It was this thriving metropolis, home to thousands of people. And then, it just got lost to the world for centuries. Today, we're going to uncover the secrets of Petra, the legendary lost city of stone.
And right away, you have to ask the biggest question of all. How? How on earth did a massive city not only survive, but actually thrive in one of the most brutal deserts on the planet? I mean, it just sounds completely impossible. And that is the exact mystery we are gonna solve.
And this. Wow. This is its most famous face. You've probably seen it before. It's Al-Khazneh, or the Treasury. Now get this. This wasn't built stone by stone. They literally carved the entire thing out of a single, gigantic cliff face. The amount of skill and pure vision that took, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
All right, so before we dive into how they pulled this off, we need to get a handle on exactly what Petra was. So let's start there. Let's explore the story of this incredible lost city of stone.
Most of us know it by its Greek name, Petra, which just means rock. Or you might have heard its nickname, the Rose City, which, makes sense given the incredible color of the stone. But the people who actually created it, the Nabataeans, they had their own name for it, Rakhmu, a name that was almost as lost to history as the city itself.
So even though it was basically hidden from the world for centuries, today Petra's importance is just undeniable. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world, and it's a huge symbol for modern Jordan. It's safe to say it has been fully restored to its rightful place as a global treasure.
So, who were the absolute geniuses behind this masterpiece? Well, they were the Nabataeans. They were a nomadic Arab people who didn't just figure out how to survive in the desert, they figured out how to master it. And look, this was what they had to work with. This was their canvas, but it was also their biggest enemy. A brutally harsh, dry landscape, where finding water was way more important than finding gold. Logically, building a city here, it should have been completely impossible.
But the Nabataeans, they had a secret weapon. Their whole trick was that they didn't just find water, they learned how to command it. Their total mastery over the water supply was the one key that unlocked the desert and let their entire civilization bloom.
So, how'd they do it? It was this brilliant 3-step system. See, the desert has these sudden, violent flash floods. Instead of fearing them, the Nabataeans harvested them. First, they built dams to trap all that rushing water. Then, they carved these huge storage tanks called cisterns straight into the rock. And finally, they built this whole network of channels to deliver the water all over the city. They turned a barren cliff into a real-life oasis.
And once you have a reliable source of water, you have life. And when you have life in the middle of a desert, well, you also have a massive opportunity. Petra went from being this hidden safe haven to a bustling, wealthy hub of international trade. The secret to all its wealth was location, location, location. Petra sat right at the crossroads of these ancient incense trade routes that connected Arabia with Egypt and Syria. So every single caravan that came through had to stop and pay a tax. And let me tell you, the Nabataeans got incredibly rich just from all that traffic.
Just how successful were they? Well, at its absolute peak, back in the 1st century AD, it's estimated that 20,000 people lived here. 20,000! That's a huge city, blooming in a place that by all rights should have been completely empty. It's just incredible.
And of course, all that money got poured right back into the city's mind-blowing architecture. This massive structure is Ad Denier, also known as the Monastery. It is the largest monument in all of Petra, a staggering 45 meters tall. And just like the Treasury, it wasn't built, it was carved right out of the mountain.
They also carved this absolutely stunning theater. It's cut directly into the hillside. In fact, they were so determined to put it right here, they actually just sliced right through some older tombs that were in the way. It could seat about 8,500 people, and it shows that Petra wasn't just a rich city, it was a sophisticated hub for culture, for poetry, and for drama.
And right here, along this cliff face, you can see the royal tombs. What's so cool is that the designs themselves tell you a story. You can see this fascinating mix of styles, some local Nabataean designs, right next to influences from the Hellenistic or ancient Greek world. It's like a visual record of all the different people and ideas that were flowing through the city. Petra was a true melting pot.
But as we all know, even the greatest empires eventually fall. So what happened here? How could a city that was so powerful, so rich, and so brilliantly designed just vanish into the desert?
Well, Petra's downfall wasn't really one single event. It was more like a slow cascade of bad luck. First, in 106 AD, the Roman Empire shows up and just annexes the whole Nabataean Kingdom, so they lose their independence. Then, a couple centuries later, a devastating earthquake hits. It destroys tons of buildings and, maybe most importantly, it cripples their amazing water system. By the 7th century, the great city was pretty much empty.
But the final nail in the coffin was all about money. See, as ships got better, traders found faster and cheaper routes across the sea. The camel caravans, which were the absolute lifeblood of Petra, started bypassing the desert completely. Once its main purpose was gone, the city's importance just faded away.
And just like that, for over 1,000 years, Petra was left to the desert. Its memory was really only kept alive in local legends. But its story was far from over. Then, fast forward to 1812. This Swiss explorer, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, he starts hearing these whispers about an incredible lost city. So he disguises himself as an Arab scholar, and he brilliantly hires a local guide, pretending that he just wants to make a sacrifice at a nearby tomb. And the trick worked. He got in, and what he found that day reintroduced the wonder of Petra to the entire world.
This comparison really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the entrance to the main gorge in 1947. It's all overgrown, almost forgotten. And on the right, the exact same spot in 2013, all cleaned up and ready for visitors. It just perfectly shows what Petra is today. An ancient wonder, totally frozen in time, but also completely alive with a new purpose.
When you really think about it, Petra's story is one of incredible transformation. It used to be the capital of a kingdom. Now it's the symbol of a whole nation. It was a hub for the incense trade. Now it's a hub for global tourism. The ancient camel caravans have been replaced by almost 1 million visitors every single year, all coming to see the sheer genius of the Nabataeans for themselves.
You know, the story of Petra just makes you wonder. It's proof that entire magnificent civilizations can be completely swallowed by time, their memory just fading into myth. And it leaves us with this one really fascinating question. What other incredible wonders are still out there, buried under sand or hidden in a jungle, just waiting for us to find them?